comments. I just thought about that.
I know we lost the comments, we lost everything. I blame
Oh,
Kyle, TJ.
you know what? I can pull it up again. Oh no, we can't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't think about that. God damn it. Why do the comments go away whenever I wish we could save those.
So
Shit.
this is so for people who are just joining this live stream right now who might not have been on the other one, we were having technical difficulties. We stopped it, and now it's a totally new live stream. That's why the comments aren't there anymore. I'm going to the last one to see if the comments are on.
No, they're not there. They go away, which is fuck, man. That's too bad because there were a ton of them on there.
I wanted to get to them. Everyone, Colby, don't say fix. You broke everything. We're never ending a live stream and starting it again. If we ever say that we should do that, Colby, I want you to tell us no, don't do it. It's a bad idea. You'll lose all the comments. You'll lose your train of thought. I hate everything about what we just did. But you know what, TJ? Failure is the world's greatest teacher.
It is. It's the mother of success. You know, we learn, we fall. What do we do when we fall down, Bruce? We get back up again and we go on from there. So yeah, that is too bad. The only one I remember is, what is your favorite color? Which doesn't, who cares? And then there was another one was like, what is your favorite there it is. Favorite Croatian tattoo with no deeper meaning. Is that there's some Democratic guy running for office who had a weird. I'd never seen that tattoo before.
So it's wild. So this is Graham Plattner. Who have you been following him at all?
No.
So Graham Plattner is one of the, we'll call them the Zorhan Mamdani wing of the party, of challenging incumbent establishment moderates from the left. And Plattner isn't a Democratic Socialist, as far as I know. Maybe he was, I forget. But challenging from the left, challenging for Susan Collins' seat, I think. I'm forgetting exactly which one it was. Whatever. But he was interesting. He came out with a campaign ad, and I was like, wow, this guy fucking gets it. Like, he's messaging progressive left-wing populism for your rural white independent Republican leaners, right? Like that's his whole cup of tea. He's I believe an ex-Marine. He's some sort of like fisherman or something in his day job, and he's bringing that like blue collar ethic and aesthetic to left-wing progressive populism. Really like that about him. Last week, a hit came out about him, about comments he made on Reddit, and they were very, very far left, and so like he distanced himself a bit. And then today, he released, like he was doing, his Oppo team found a video of him with his shirt off where he has this tattoo on his chest. And I'll try and find it here while I talk about this. But the tattoo is a Nazi symbol, one which I didn't recognize. Like, one, but it is one. Like, it is irrefutably a Nazi symbol. And so he put it out there as like, hey, just to let you guys know, I got this. I was drunk as a Marine in Croatia, and we all got these tattoos that look like a badass skull and crossbones. And turns out it was a Nazi tattoo, which I'm fine with believing all of those words are true. Totally fine. As I always say with these things, dog whistles are only dog whistles when they're surrounded by enough evidence that the person could be believably using them on purpose. A one-off dog whistle, I'm not ever going to be too worried about. But the thing I am worried about is that he still fucking has it on him. Like that. That's just unbelievable. I or at least I haven't seen him post a picture of a shirt off with a different tattoo. Like I'm very confused by it. If it isn't a genuine Nazi tattoo, this entire thing is at least indicative of terrible political instincts that are red flag worthy.
Okay, I didn't know that he still had the tattoo, because when I saw the image, it was this afternoon, and I thought I saw it next to a white skull and crossbone tattoos, and I assumed that he had got it fixed and got it, so it didn't look like the Nazi symbol. But either way, I agree with you, John, on all counts, because one, I don't know if this is a Nazi symbol. I guess you said like it's irrefutably a Nazi symbol. I've heard other people say it. I'm willing to accept that. And maybe he meant it as a Nazi symbol back in the day. Maybe he hasn't. What's important in these situations, I always tell people that a lot of times there is like cancel culture or whatever, where people will jump on people needlessly because of, like you said, like there's a lot of dog whistles out there that people just don't know are dog whistles. But what's important is to look through your history and see what you sound like. Do you sound like someone who's saying white supremacist shit all the time? Okay, that's some good verification for me. However, I could not agree with you more. You are right on the money with the terrible political instincts here. Awful. Dog shit. I don't know. I think you mentioned this guy last show or somebody else, but I'm not too familiar with him. However, the fact that he said, I have this tattoo that is a Nazi symbol, and I'm going to preemptively tell everyone I have a Nazi symbol, awful. Awful. Here's what you do. Have you not been paying attention to politics the last like 10, 15 years? Say it's not a Nazi symbol. Say, no, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a cool pirate tattoo. And actually, you're kind of weird thinking about that Nazi stuff. It's kind of strange that your mind directly goes there. Because look, if you're good enough with this politics thing, that's going to work. We've seen it work with Trump all the time. Just bully people. Say, no, it's not a Nazi tattoo. Fuck you. It's not. It's crazy that he just admitted it. I can't believe that.
The wild thing is, it's not like, again, this is he put this out there. And I just saw an article from Politico. He said he's going to get it removed. But like, here's the thing.
Why would you do it before? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm not a paid political strategist. This is not my day job. I don't do this for a living. But here's the thing. If I found out, hey, I got this tattoo, what do I do with it? Immediately, A, remove it, turn it into something else, and B, plant it with some idiot, some real idiot that you can attack, feed him the story, have him come out with it, and then be like, oh yeah, here's my shirt off. I got it replaced because the minute I found out that this was a Nazi tattoo, I went and got it removed. Like you should. That would have been perfect counter messaging to all the Nazi shit we see going on. But this is just an unforced error of unforced errors. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, or if you really want to get cute with it, you could just pull out your shirt and show no tattoo there and say, what are you talking about? These are clearly doctored images that my opponent is using to try to besmirch my character. But this is an obscure ass Nazi symbol. How did you even find this? Wait, how deep in the rabbit hole of white supremacy are you? That also, this is interesting because you mentioned how this is a Nazi symbol you've never seen before. I've never seen it before. Maybe this is something people know. Do you think he could have just let this slide? Like, who would have ever found this out? I had no idea that this was a Nazi symbol. I mean, he could have won. Winning the election is the important thing. After you win the election, these things hurt a lot less. You don't want to do it before the election. And like we're saying here, just get it removed before you release that information. This guy's not ready for the big leagues, John. He's not ready.
Not ready for the big leagues.
Holy 100%. Shit.
And he was I was like, hey, I like everything I'm seeing from this guy, but yeah, not ready for the big leagues in a way that is concerning. Like again, either he likes having it, there's no good defensible reason for him to still have the tattoo on his body. Again, no one recognizes this Nazi tattoo unless you're really into Nazi shit. You wouldn't know it. It is clearly I don't think anyone's going to argue that this symbol is not this symbol. It makes sense. Again, I didn't know this was a Nazi symbol, but okay, just get it removed. Turn it into something else. And then now you're setting an example for, hey, the people who are worried about accidentally doing or saying the wrong thing and getting labeled as a Nazi in these political environment, this is what you fucking do. This is what you fucking do. You see what reality is, and if it's reality, you apologize, you say you were wrong, and you move on. He had that perfect opportunity. He didn't take it. It's just that's pretty much it for him. He might still win, TJ. I don't fucking know, but
it doesn't bode well for the future for this guy. That's his immediate. This is Elizabeth Warren releasing her DNA results level political malpractice right here, and I have to say so. I was a recruiter in the Army for a while, and I know a thing or two about altering tattoos. And I have never seen a more easily altered tattoo than that. It's just a black blob. You can make it anything you want.
So easy.
It's so you can make it say whatever you want. And I didn't cover up Nazi tattoos. That's not what it is. But if you had an obscenity or something, the Army isn't going to let you join the Army.
If he was in the U.S. Army, he might have covered up if you did.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But I did. Well, we did enlist the guy who ended up becoming a murderer. Which, okay, I know all people in the army murderers. No, but I'm saying like he murdered his wife. Like there was a guy who came into our recruiting station for months, and he wasn't my recruit. He was another guy in the office. But like 6 months later, I saw that he was on the run from the police for killing his wife and stuffing her in a suitcase, and he had gone to Asia to hide or whatever. But no, like in the army, like if you have, like, say you have a scar on your arm, like a horse, like a straight line scar, they're going to think you try to kill yourself, and they're not going to let you in the army. So I was like, okay, let's cover that bad boy up with a tattoo. And so I've had plenty of work here, trying to alter tattoos and stuff. And the fact that he did nothing to that tattoo actually makes me wonder what's going on with that. That's kind of odd.
We have a commenter here, JC Light 3, and he seems to be mad at us for this. And I just want to clarify. So he says, why the fuck is the truth good enough for you people? The meaning of the tattoo is not the meaning you're signing to it. It's a tattoo he got in the Marines, and he's had it for decades. Again, JC Light, we understand all of that. In fact, we are inclined to completely believe him that this was a tattoo that he got decades ago, didn't know the meaning behind it. Even if, again, I didn't study this like, I don't know what this symbol means within Nazi iconography, mate. I don't know what fucking meaning it has, but it is clearly a Nazi symbol, and that's just political malpractice. It doesn't matter to me because I believe him. It doesn't particularly matter. What matters to me is the malpractice of putting this out yourself without having already gotten the tattoo removed or having some better messaging strategy behind it. It's pretty much that simple. This is the Q&A show. So we have a couple questions here. One particularly that I liked from Catheter Cowboy. Would you rather give Stephen Miller a permanent chipmunk voice or a permanent clown wig?
I would be reticent to give him either of those. The chipmunk voice works, I think, because I think the clown wig, he's already lost his hair, so he might see that as a win, having the clown hair and everything. And I hate saying this because I feel like I end up giving the devil his due a lot of times on the show. But have you ever seen the clip of Stephen Miller when he was 17 or 19 or something, and he's yelling about how he's sick of having to pick up, of having to force pick up trash when they pay janitors for it? I saw him another video. He was wearing the same outfit. He was like on a school bus or something like that. Yeah, you've seen it where he's talking and everything. Stephen Miller is legitimately funny. I was shocked. I couldn't buy it. Didn't seem like the same guy, and it was kind of upsetting to me. I said, man, I thought the same thing, I think, with Donald Trump. When you see Donald Trump as a born entertainer, like the guy was, destined to entertain people around the world. Stephen Miller is kind of similar, and I wouldn't have guessed that based on what I've seen him, because he seems so repugnant and so disgusting, and just like, I just get a chill down my spine when I watch this guy. It creeps me out. And seeing that, no, he's got like personality and charm and decent comedic chops. So yeah, I go with the chipmunk voice because people would take you less seriously. It's still kind of funny though. People would assume you're doing it on purpose, but the clown wig, I think, is giving him too much.
RFK Jr., we have one weird voice already in the Trump cabinet. I do agree with I like him bald, but let's go into I vote. We're going to change it. Clown nose. Clown nose.
There we go. Clown nose and clown shoes.
Yes, the two of them. Very important. We also have another one from Michigan Man. Can you explain why everything bad happened from the left side ideology? Can you explain why right hold candle and left destroy?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means. I absolutely love it as a question, though. Can you explain why right hold candle and the left destroys? I don't. Okay, we had another comment. Can you tell me why everything bad that has happened is due to the left? Can you explain why? I can explain why everything bad that's happened is due to the left. It's because we didn't do a good enough job at stopping it. That's taking personal responsibility. If you're someone who likes taking personal responsibility, come to the left. What do you say about that, DJ?
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of these conversations get derailed because we have a misunderstanding of terminology.
Mhm.
What does he mean or she mean? It's a he. Who are we kidding? What does he mean by left? Like, what does left wing
Yeah.
ideology mean to him? Like, if we want to go with like the classical definition of the origin of the terms right and left, we can go back to the French Revolution, where the right wing is the pro aristocracy, pro monarchy side, and the left wing is the pro democracy side, the pro disaggregation of power. That's and what the terms essentially mean that today. Edmund Burke was essentially the father of modern right wing conservative ideology, in which there is a class of people who are better than us who should make our decisions. It's why the right wing loves saying this isn't a democracy, it's a republic, when in reality it's both. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive, but they do not like the concept of democracy. They don't think the people are too stupid to decide what they want. Oddly enough, they might be right. It's weird that that's another product left that we alter our actions and our thoughts based on reality and what's around us. So, and also, what do you consider bad? You talk to right wingers about the decline of society. Although crime is lower than it was 100 years ago or 80 years ago. We have more freedom for people, for minorities and for women. But for them, the decline of society is, well, women are wearing skirts that are too short these days, and music has a lot of swear words in it. That's how society is actually bad. So I don't know. It just seems kind of useless to have that argument with them because we are talking two different planes.
And we have a funny thing here, TJ. When you saw JC Light's comment previously that we just discussed, what did you like? Where on the political spectrum did you assume he was when he was defending Graham Plattner's tattoo?
Oh, I thought he was on the left.
I thought he was on the left too, TJ. I thought he was. I mean, farther it is meaninless, but I thought he was a Graham Plattner stan that wanted to defend Graham Plattner. I feel like he might just be someone who hates us because now he's coming at Levy saying personal responsibility on the left. You don't take personal responsibility for anything. He says a couple different comments here, but one I wanted to point out here: crime, nope. Victims of the system.
I don't know what is.
He's saying, you guys don't take personal responsibility for crime. It's like, here's the difference. Here's the difference between let me be very clear. I take more personal responsibility by blaming the system than you do by blaming the perpetrator. You're saying it's all the perpetrator's fault. It's all that person's fault. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. All we got to do is throw him in prison. Boom. That's done. That's the end of my job. On the left, we say no. Our job starts before that guy's even fucking born. We got to make sure that his parents have access to proper nutrition, access to good schooling, access to educational programs, access to sexual education so he doesn't have another kid out of wedlock as a teenager. We take responsibility for all of these things. If he commits a crime, we say that's our fault. It's the system's fault that that person committed a crime because it was always preventable, and our system could have done something to prevent it if it was perfect. Blaming the system is taking responsibility. Blaming the perpetrator is pushing all the responsibility onto someone else.
Yeah, and this doesn't absolve the perpetrator from guilt, of course. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm explaining to this guy, but for anyone else listening, that we're not saying that if someone commits a murder or something that, well, we shouldn't punish them or we shouldn't correct this action or do something to rectify the situation because society is to blame. It's actually our fault. We should be punished. That's not what it's saying. It's saying that if you actually want to solve the problem, you have to look at the system. Conservatives have a very childlike understanding of sociology and how systems work, and that, hey, just like John said, here's a bad person. This bad person did something wrong. If we punish him, other bad people will notice, and that will solve the problems. Like, not really. No, that's not right. It's not been a predictor of how society actually reduces violence and cruelty and inequality. Because if you put in, like, systems are essentially biological or civilizational machines. You put in certain input, you are guaranteed to get certain results. And when the input that you put in is high education, is freedom of movement and equality, freedom and democracy, you have a lot lower rates of crime, instability, sexual assault, teen pregnancies. These always go down every single time they're tried, which is just what the left tries to promote. It's like, okay, you can preach all day long about how one person is bad and focus all of your anger on that one person or one group of people, but until you fix their lived conditions, it doesn't change anything. Now, oddly enough, the left is subject to doing this too. The left does this a lot. And I don't know, they do it with young men a lot. I've noticed that they do this with young men a lot, where that we say, that these young men, these unfuckable losers, these fucking incels or whatever, if they could just, get their act together, they could be successful, they could be happy, but they're stopping themselves. It's like, all right, that's not incorrect, but it's also that is equally valid as a statement as saying that, this person who committed a crime, if he had just made better decisions, he wouldn't be the situation. Yes, that's also true. However, what was the framework and the system that led to this outcome? And if it keeps happening, what can we do to change it? It's a smart way of solving problems rather than a dumb way. That's all.
I say the same thing all the time, TJ. I've been saying that for years and years and years, since before I was a content creator, is that if you are going to tell me that this criminal committed their crime in large part because they were born into this impoverished inner city community where they didn't have proper education, didn't have proper access to nutrition, didn't have a food security, all of these things, and that drove them to commit crime at a disproportional rate than anyone else, I will believe you. But if you tell me, hey, this kid who was born into this Christian evangelical Kansas Sticks community, he was 17 years old, he has to take all the personal responsibility for his shitty political opinions.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here. Like that doesn't make any. There's no way you can believe both of those things. It's you believe one or neither, both and neither. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
It is a very conservative way of looking at the problem, and a lot of lefties are falling for it. It happens a lot. I don't know, but then again, looking at things the correct way is kind of difficult. All right, yeah, we also have a bit of time here, but we wanted to talk about, at least I want to get out of the way before we go anywhere else, Trump and the demolishing of the East Wing of the White House. Have you seen this, John?
Yes, I have, and I don't know. I'm like whatever about it, TJ.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that sucks, but honestly, like, it doesn't matter to me what he fucking does to the White House. Like, I'm much more offended by his gold fucking decals that he's putting all over the place than I am about whatever ballroom he's making.
Oh boy. Oh no, the thing is all messed up here. I can't add a new. Oh, here we go. I wanted to play this little clip of Trump and his ballroom thing because I find this just funny and ironic. So I wanted to share this with the good folks out there.
A historic piece of the White House is disappearing. Demolition of the East Wing has begun, making way for President Trump's new $250 million ballroom. Franklin Roosevelt constructed the primary structure of the East Wing in 1942, and it's long served as the main entry point for guests and tourists. It was designed as a graceful passage toward the White House residence, lined with portraits of first ladies and framed to the south by the Jacqueline Kennedy Garden. Beyond its historic halls, the East Wing also houses the office of the First Lady and the White House Social Office. The White House on Monday started tearing down part of the East Wing to build President Donald Trump's ballroom. The Republican president has said he's adding a 90,000 square foot ballroom because the East Room, the largest room in the White House with an approximately 200-person capacity, is too small. Trump said the ballroom will fit 999 people.
All right, so I wanted to pull this up here that Trump has taken down part of the East Wing to add a ballroom, which is going to be just as gaudy, ostentatious of an eyesore as Mar-a-Lago and with the Oval Office is right now. But what was funny to me about this is they said that this new ballroom will seat, 999, essentially 1,000 people. And I think they said it was a 90,000 square foot ballroom. I looked up the square footage of the White House. 55,000 square feet. This ballroom is going to be bigger than the actual White House, like twice the size. I know, and so I know it's. And here's the thing: I'm with John.
How did it only fit 999 people then? And also, why not just make it 1,000? Why not make it 1 square foot?
I wondered that too. When I heard it was 999, maybe there's some sort of federal zoning law.
There must be some zoning regulation.
I thought the same thing. It's like maybe it's a safety hazard to have over 1,000 people. But anyway. I actually do not care about this. I genuinely don't care all that much. But I do like thinking about this in the framework in the mind of a Republican who lose their shit every time someone decides, hey, how about we take down this 75-year-old statue or something, and
Yeah.
oh, you're destroying our history. Can you believe the Democrats are destroying our history by suggesting we move this the statue of Jeb Stuart into a museum or something like that? How dare you, sir? And I started thinking about it more that the Republicans are playing this game the right way. Because, once again, we're going to talk about the irony of this and the absurdity of this, and it's not going to matter. But you remember when they changed the names of the military bases, and then Republicans came in and changed the names back, but under a different person? Do you remember that? So,
very funny.
yes, I thought it was funny too. And for those of you who wonder what we're talking about, like Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I was born, the base is named after a Confederate general named Braxton Bragg, whose only major contribution to American history was fighting to defend the Confederacy, a country that seceded from the Union and had written in the first article of its constitution that slavery, or specifically black people, would be codified for the existence of the entire nation. So yeah, that's his great contribution to history. So they changed the name to someone else named Bragg, some guy who drove a ambulance in World War I or something. And you know what, John? We should have done that first. I have a new hot take on this. I think that was a genius idea that I wish we would have done. Like, imagine if 6-7 years ago we decided, you know what? We don't want bases named after Confederate generals anymore. So we're going to keep the names, but just change who we're honoring. We're taking down the signs of Braxton Bragg. We're putting up some random soldier named Bragg, and that's what keep it. The only retort the Republicans would have would be to bring back Braxton Bragg, to actually say, yeah, actually we do. And they would have done it too. They would have absolutely done it too. And I'm so mad the Republicans beat us on this game, but they beat us on most games when it comes to the pageantry and stagecraft of politics. But yeah, this is just another one that, they're going to win this because no one else really cares, but they pretend they do.
I agree with you on that, DJ, but I feel like that's playing a little Monday morning quarterback because the reason that I like what they did is because I hadn't thought of it. Like, it was a clever idea.
It was, man. It was. Yes.
I have so much respect for any. It doesn't. I mean, the ends obviously might still be evil and fucked up, but if the means involves circumventing a rule set in a way that aligns with the rule set, but you are using it in a way that wasn't intended, I like that every fucking time.
I do too.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's a sport, a game, or politics or whatever. I love that shit. It's one of my favorite things. And so, yeah, like when they did that, I was like, I can't be upset. Like, I can't respect Gabe. Hats off to you, good sir. You win this round.
It was clever. It was clever. And yeah, I just wish we had a little more, showmanship, some panache. We need a Saul Goodman running stuff for left-wing politicians because, yeah, that's what people like. And, and plus, this is a bread and circuses administration or country anyway. No one cares about actual policy anymore. Is stuff going to be entertaining? And yeah, sometimes it is.
It is funny, TJ, because Graham Plattner, like what we were talking about earlier, his initial barrage, it sounded like, to me, I was like, this is what we've needed for so long. This exact messaging delivered in this exact way. Finally, we have someone who knows how to play the game. Oh, fuck, he didn't think to cover up his Nazi tattoo. Like, every single time, John Fetterman, I get excited about John Fetterman, fucking has a stroke, rug pull. Like, Zorhan is my last hope, TJ. Zorhan is my last hope, and he can't even be president because he wasn't born here.
Oh,
like,
no.
It is
oh, no. Damn, that's shitty. Well, actually, what
did you not know that?
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought, but then again, I hadn't thought about Zoran running president. But it's, I do like how good Zoran Mandami is. One of the rare exceptions for a lefty who's really good with social media. They're so few and far between that we've talked about this on the show before, that when it comes to the left, there's a strong, like a powerful strain of evangelicalism on the left. Like, we really, really have this, we're waiting for the rapture or like the revolution or something like that. Like the lack of practicality in our actions and the, attacking folks who have a small, moderate disagreement with you and going to bat with that and just being kind of unpleasant to be around, not being funny. Like there's a lot of that with the pure believers. And so, Yeah, more of that would be great, but we'll take what we can get. Let's see.
And I know it's a great comment section right now, TJ. Plenty of comments. Really
Oh,
enjoy.
wow. Yeah, a lot of comments. Yeah.
Love when we get a lot of comments on our left wing Q&A show. So keep them coming. I do want to say to JC, JC, I hope you come back around, because JC said earlier, TJ, that we got his politics wrong. So I don't know what JC's politics are, but he clearly doesn't like ours. But he did say something. It's funny you're talking about this instead of No Kings. Just goes to show how utterly meaningless the Dog and Pony show was this weekend. Now, JC, I'm not talking about No Kings because I don't have much more to say about it that we haven't already said, but you're new here, and we have a couple of new people in the comments. TJ, what are your thoughts generally on the No Kings?
My thoughts,
the individual protests overall.
Yeah, my thoughts have been pretty clear on this lately, that I don't think protests matter that much. I just don't. Protests can be, they can be canaries in the coal mine for showing how much support a movement has. And I would never say that I'm against protests. I would never say that people shouldn't do it. But I sincerely question the efficacy of protests. I would like to see some sort of correlation, especially recently, say in the past 4-6 years or so, if protests actually led to action based primarily on the protest. And people, because we've romanticized this idea that standing in a field and holding up a sign affects change. And I don't want to say this dismissively, although this is coming off very dismissive, because I'm not trying to shit on people who are doing protests, but the examples that we all look back to with the civil rights movement. And if you look at the civil rights movement, what really did it was the mass boycott was what really started the ball rolling in Montgomery with the buses. That was a year-long boycott. Nobody does genuine year-long boycotts anymore, not with any sustained targeted effort. We have some people boycott Chick-fil-A or Starbucks, whatever. It doesn't really matter all that much. But as far as actual political movements, we've seen people lighting themselves on fire. We've seen protests. We've seen people chaining themselves to buildings. I don't see any actual results coming from that. Once again, not saying protests are bad. I'm just saying that, yeah, I think that. Remember when Trump was elected and we had the women's protest, whatever, what came of that? I mean, I think lots of high level protests, or people talk about them a lot, but yeah, I don't see much efficacy from them.
So Brendan P here, he has a comment that I think really hits the nail on the head. Protests say more to your side than the opposition. And I think if you look at them through that framework, No Kings is a massive success. If you look at it, because people like to criticize, what did it really accomplish? Well, it didn't accomplish anything. But as TJ said, protests rarely accomplish anything. Protesting isn't about getting the person that you're trying to change the mind of to change their mind. And very rarely will that ever work. They're only going to change their mind if the material circumstances changes. So if you're able to turn a protest into a sustained boycott, into a strike, into something that has tangible results that allows you to extract power through leverage, that's when it works. But what a protest does, TJ, it's for people who don't know, I'm a marketer. I work in marketing. That's my day job. And in marketing, we have what's called a marketing funnel. Marketing 101, you have your top of funnel ads. Those don't say much, but they tell people about your brand who may not have heard about it. And then the bottom of the funnel ads are like, buy now for 50% off. That's how it works. And you get the people to click on the top of the funnel ad, and eventually they get down to the bottom of the funnel and they make a purchase. These No Kings protests, they're top of funnel. There are millions of people going out to these protests that have never done this before. They've never been very civically active. They've never went to a protest, went to a mass organizing event. And you know what? Every time I go to one, I did not go to this one. I've been to the last two. They have organizers all around. I saw 80-year-old white women signing up for a DSA email list. And it's like, that would never happen without these mass protest efforts. So that's one thing they do. They take people who otherwise wouldn't have been engaged, get them on lists, get them to do more things that are going to have an impact. The second thing they do is signal to everyone else, hey, you're not alone, because what this style of politics, even if you're going to disagree with me that Trump is a fascist, which you're wrong, but it's okay, you disagree with me. I think we can agree that he rules through fear. I think we can agree that he likes making people afraid of him. He uses things like tariffs. He uses ICE to go into workplaces and schools and homes intentionally to make people afraid. He wants immigrants to self-deport because they're afraid of being arrested by ICE. Like, I think we can all agree those are just the facts. When you're facing an opponent who rules through fear, it can be very damaging to him to show the people he's trying to make afraid of him that there's millions of people taking to the streets against him. That is very worrying to someone with the style of politics of Donald Trump. So I would argue that if you recognize them for what they are, these protests, these indivisible protests, whatever you want to call them, highly successful, and they will continue to get bigger as time goes on and continue to create down the line change, even though they themselves don't actually change anything.
I like that comparison of protest to top of the funnel. That's good. I do like that, because this is you know, I often say, which kind of contradicts my statement from before, that I'm not so much interested in persuasion as much as I am in mobilization. Like, that's what you really got to do. And a protest can't be effective at that. It can be effective at saying, hey, folks, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing anybody is fired up being against Trump today that wasn't a year from now. I have a really hard time believing that. There might be small pockets we've seen, like, I don't know, soybean farmers who are kind of mad at Trump, but they would vote for him again anyway. It's I don't know. We'll have to see. I do want to get to this comment before we run out of time here. Very important. It says, TJ looks so handsome. His hair looks so nice. That is, I don't know who this commenter is, but that is fantastic. I couldn't agree more. Keep them coming, folks.
We only accuse Trump of being easily manipulated through flattery because we intimately understand that problem. We relate to Donald Trump in that way. We always say we shouldn't be president for that and many other reasons. And Donald Trump also shouldn't be president for that and other reasons, but that is one of them. One of the ones, TJ, again, like we said at the beginning of the show, can we just agree that, like, that's a bad thing? Like, a president shouldn't be so easily manipulated through flattery, which is like, can we, if you can agree with me, we can have a reasonable discussion about any of his policies. But if you can't agree with that, I'm sorry, you're lost in the fucking Kool-Aid, because Jesus Christ, it's so obvious.
Yeah, I agree. Michigan Man says, the soybean farming and selling to the cow farmer, they're making great inside America. Holy shit, I can't. Oh, yeah, look.
Michigan Man, I implore you. To watch any previous episode where we mention the U.S. literacy rate. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on that.
That's so bad. That's so bad, man. All right, John, we didn't get to do our banter in the beginning of the show, and we're running out of time, and I want to get to this. Although the questions are great. Jesus, people, they're so amazing. I feel bad not getting...
Absolutely. This has been so entertaining. Keep them coming. Be back here every Tuesday at 6:35 EST, and we will be here to answer your questions. And also on Thursdays from 6:30 to 8:30, where we have our normal show.
Hey, like the plug, John. John, I had a question that I wanted to ask you for the banter part of the show, and that is, when is it acceptable?
Is there another part of the show, TJ?
Huh?
Is there another part of the show besides?
Well, you know, like, this has nothing to do with politics, and so is there? What is the unofficial time period for you in which it's acceptable for you to start hearing Christmas music? And I ask that because we're nearing the end of October, which means we're going to start hearing Christmas music any day now. Like, the unofficial start, I think, for Christmas music is probably November 1st, but we've all heard a lot of pre-Halloween Christmas music. I saw, when I was in North Carolina, I remember seeing like a 20-foot Christmas tree in September. It was the earliest I've ever seen a Christmas tree was in September. But when is the date for you? I won't tell you my date till afterward, but what date for you is it okay to start hearing Christmas music where it doesn't annoy you?
So to start hearing it where it doesn't annoy me, it's probably November 1st. And that is just a capitulation to the fact that I know that I'm going to hear it. But if you were to ask me, when is it appropriate to start playing Christmas music? Black Friday. Like I don't want to hear about a holiday before another major holiday. Like we got to get there. Thanksgiving is fun. I like Thanksgiving. Don't erase Thanksgiving with your Christmas shit.
Listen, I love Thanksgiving too. I love getting with the family. I'm a big turkey frying guy. I fry turkeys on Thanksgiving. That's kind of my thing. Tossing the old pigskin around, watching TV, seeing the family. I'm a huge fan of Thanksgiving. However, there is no Thanksgiving music. Like if Thanksgiving came out with songs, then all right, I could hear that argument. But since Thanksgiving doesn't have any, all right, let's like popping out the Christmas songs. Because I posted this question on TikTok, John. I got a lot of day after Thanksgivings. I got a lot of Black Friday answer from folks. I got a few Decembers, got a few Novembers. My answer, January 1st. If you ask me, New Year's Day to New Year's Eve, 365, I am always in the fucking mood for Christmas music. I can hear Handel's Messiah, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. I don't care if I'm on a beach in the middle of July. I'm in. Christmas music rocks. It's fucking great. Happy holidays. I'm in, John. I want it all the time. There's a reason these songs last forever. They have such staying power. Because they're great. People love Christmas music. I don't care what time of the year it is. I'm in.
TJ just said we're joining the war on Christmas on the side of Christmas.
Hell yes.
We are Christmas's greatest warriors out here.
Unfollow. Blocked and reported. You guys are a bunch of Scrooges. I love me some Christmas. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I don't know.
I'm so glad JC Light said this, and yet y'all are anti-Christian. Amazing. The Christians just got to admit that Christmas is no longer
Christmas is anti-Christmas.
Christmas is a secular holiday.
Christmas, yeah, it's essentially
democratically determined. You do not need to be Christian to celebrate Christmas. In fact, most people who celebrate Christmas don't fucking believe in the Christian religion. It's just the case. I'm sorry, you lost. You made something so good, you couldn't keep it as your own.
Christmas
compliment.
Christmas is literally a combination of like 5 holidays. That's what makes this kind of ridiculous, is that like Jesus would have been born in the spring when the shepherds would have been out in Israel at the time, or Palestine at the time. And it wasn't Israel at the time, folks. This isn't like anti-Semitic stuff. Israel stopped existing 500 years before Jesus was born. And just letting everybody know, because I'm sure they don't. And if you look up the customs for Saturnalia, the Roman holiday, Christmas is a ton of those customs. Of course, we know about the pagan ones with the Yule log and stuff like that. And also, it takes place like right around the winter solstice. That I mean, this is just, it's a ton. And Halloween is another one of those. Halloween is a funny one. When I was a kid, my churches, we weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween because it was seen as like a devil's pagan holiday and everything. Halloween's a Christian holiday. Like that's an actual Christian holiday, right?
One of the wildest ones to me is how Christians get upset about Halloween. I'm like, bro, it is literally a Christian holiday. Like it literally is.
It means All Hallows Eve. Like it's literally, I know, of course, it's also a combination of holidays. Like it's put like All Saints Day.
All holidays are.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous to put it that way. But listen, I do think though there's an interesting argument about this, because I remember having this argument a long time ago when you can't have religious displays on public property, unless you allow all religious displays as a First Amendment violation. It is a tricky one with Christmas, though. Like, honestly, it's a legitimate question right there, because the holiday has Christ's name in it, okay? Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't pretend that it's not affiliated with Christ at all. And so, and it is, I think it is the only, like, actual Christian federal holiday, right? Like, there's the only one. Easter's not a federal holiday. So, yeah, it wouldn't make sense. I'm not someone who say we need to strike Christmas from the calendar because it's a religious holiday. It wouldn't make sense because everyone takes that time off anyway. It's impractical at that point. There's certain ways where people can go a little bit too far. Like my joke is calling manhole covers personhole covers and stuff like that. There's only so far you can go with this shit before, all right, the language just works this way. We are kind of trapped by culture in a lot of ways, but I don't know. That's how it is. And what else did I want to ask you here, John? Oh shit, we're out of time on this. Shame the clip wouldn't win. I have a lot for our next episode. I have a lot of clips I want to share with you because they're pretty good.
Cannot wait. I do have one thing. Kobe brought it up earlier in the show, and he said, "I can't believe I haven't asked you guys. Have you seen One Battle After Another? #LeftWing Film Club." I have not. TJ, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. But that reminds me of what I wrote down here. I can't forget. John, I got a show or a movie that I would love us to review
That
sometime.
was the segue that I was going for. I was like, I was actually specifically saying, let's try and get like some horror movie, maybe, or some Halloweeny themed movie for next week potentially.
It's not.
What were you going to say?
It's not technically a horror film, but it does involve men in masks. And the movie is The Birth of a Nation. I think that I assume you've seen it. You strike me as someone who's
OG or the new one?
The OG. There's a new one? I didn't know there was a new one. I'm talking about the one from 1915.
Okay. So yeah, so the 1915, I definitely saw some of that before I fell asleep in film class.
Okay,
but
John,
you want to do the OG Birth of a Nation? You want to?
I do.
You really want to do this to me, TJ?
I really listen. I do. So when we were
like, what's gonna make John the most uncomfortable?
John, listen, John, listen. So on the flight from San Diego back home, Heather and I were on the plane. She goes, "Hey, have you ever seen Birth of a Nation?" And I said, I've seen lots of clips from it. I've never actually seen it's a 3-hour movie. Like I've never seen it start to finish. And she said, I think she saw some documentary or something on it. And she goes, I think we should watch sometime. And John, it is a really good movie. It is. I see why it was a hit 100 years ago. Now, it was obviously like some of the most racist, ahistorical, like bigoted nonsense you could ever, witness on film. But structurally, thematically, the acting, the special effects, the story kept you engaged, and also I cannot stress how racist this movie is. I can't listen. I knew the reputation Birth of a Nation had. I knew that this was, Super Saiyan 2 racism. I knew I was going in for this, and I knew its reputation. I knew that the Ku Klux Klan are the heroes of the movie. Even knowing all that, I was surprised how racist the movie was. But I would love to talk about it on Left Wing Film Club sometimes. Like it'll probably take you, it'll take you at least 3 hours to get through it. But it's good. It's good. I recommend we cover it sometime.
I will, TJ. Let's set a date off camera, and we'll set a date for us to review it. And I will watch it, and I will hate every moment of it because
no, you won't. No, you won't. You won't.
Okay, maybe I won't. Maybe I will really enjoy all of the racism. Anyway, let's maybe next Tuesday. Do you want to do because I was just like, what's like political retrospective on Get Out on Tuesday?
Okay, Tuesday. I won't be able to do the show on Thursday. I just found out. So I just remember that. So Tuesday I'll be doing it. So yeah, Get Out. I can do that.
Perfect. Well, everyone who's been participating this episode, it is always so much more fun for us to do this when we have a pop-in comment section like we had today, even if it's a bunch of haters. Honestly, I enjoy that even more. So thank you for being here. We will be here every Tuesday unless TJ is unavailable, or maybe, I don't know. But we'll be here every Tuesday at 6:35 EST. And then our normal show on Thursdays is when we usually have a guest. It's longer. We go more in depth in the topics, but Tuesday is here for your questions. We let you guys control the show. Until then, make sure to subscribe so you know when we're going live, even though I just told you. And see you guys on Thursday.
Later, folks. Wow, that turned into a great episode.